The Price of Greed. In the quiet village of Elmsworth, nestled between green hills and thick woods, lived a humble woodcutter named Thomas. He was known for his honesty and hard work. Every day he would venture into the forest with his axe and return by sunset with a cart of chopped wood to sell in the town market. Thomas lived in a small cottage with his wife Mary and their young daughter Lily. Though they had little, their hearts were rich with love, and their home was filled with warmth and laughter. One morning, as Thomas was chopping wood by the riverbank, he swung his axe with such force that it slipped from his hands and flew into the fast-moving river. "Oh no," he cried, watching the axe sink beneath the surface. That axe was his only tool. Without it, he couldn't earn a living. Heartbroken, Thomas sat on a rock, holding his head in his hands. Suddenly, the water began to shimmer, and from the river rose a figure. A beautiful woman with hair like flowing silver and eyes that sparkled like stars. She was the river spirit. "I saw your sorrow, kind man," she said in a soothing voice. "You have lost something dear to you." Thomas stood up, startled but hopeful. "Yes, my lady. My axe fell into the river. It is the only thing I have to earn bread for my family." The river spirit smiled kindly. "Let me help you." She dipped her hand into the water and pulled out a golden axe, its blade shining like the sun. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Thomas shook his head. "No, my lady. That is a fine axe, but it is not mine." The spirit nodded and once again reached into the river. This time she brought out a silver axe, elegant and polished. "Is this your axe?" Thomas smiled gently. "It is beautiful, but no, it's not mine either." For the third time, the river spirit reached into the water and pulled out a rusty old axe with a wooden handle, worn and familiar. "That's the one!" Thomas exclaimed. "That is my axe." The river spirit beamed. "You are an honest man, Thomas. Because of your truthfulness, I will give you all 3 axes." Thomas was speechless. He took the axes, bowed in gratitude, and returned home, his heart filled with joy. Word of Thomas's fortune spread quickly through the village. Many praised him for his honesty, but one man, Gregory, was not pleased. Gregory was a greedy and cunning farmer who always sought shortcuts to wealth. "If Thomas can get gold and silver by just losing an axe," he muttered, "then so can I." The next morning, Gregory went to the same riverbank, took one of his old axes, and threw it into the water. Then, pretending to be distraught, he sat by the river and cried out dramatically, "Oh no, my precious axe, I cannot work without it." Sure enough, the water sparkled again, and the river spirit emerged. "What troubles you, man of the land?" she asked. "I've lost my only axe," Gregory wailed, putting on his best act of sorrow. The river spirit reached into the water and pulled out a golden axe. "Is this your axe?" Gregory's eyes gleamed with greed. Yes, yes, that's the one." The spirit frowned. Her eyes turned cold, and the golden axe vanished in her hands. "You are a liar," she said sternly. "You are not worthy of even your own axe." With that, she vanished into the river, taking all the axes with her. Gregory returned home empty-handed and furious. His plan had failed, and his greed had cost him dearly. Years passed. Thomas continued his work with honesty, and his life grew more comfortable. With the money he earned, he was able to send Lily to school. She grew up to be a kind and wise young woman, beloved in the village. One day, the king of the land declared that he was looking for a new advisor, someone who was not just intelligent, but also honest and fair. He invited people from across the kingdom to come and tell their stories. Encouraged by the villagers, Thomas and Lily traveled to the capital. When it was Thomas's turn, he shared the tale of the river spirit and the axes. The king listened intently, and when Thomas finished, the hall was silent. The king rose from his throne. "It is not often we meet a man who chooses honesty over wealth," he said. "Your story teaches a lesson many forget. That character is more valuable than gold." He appointed Thomas as his advisor, and Lily was given a position in the royal library. Meanwhile, Gregory's farm had failed. His lies and cheating had made him many enemies. One cold winter he came to the capital in search of work. He was shocked to find Thomas sitting beside the king. Shame and regret filled his heart. He approached Thomas with lowered eyes. "I have done wrong," he said. "My greed brought me nothing. Can you forgive me?" Thomas looked at Gregory and saw not the man who once mocked him, but someone broken by his own choices. He placed a hand on Gregory's shoulder. "Yes," he said kindly, "everyone deserves a second chance." Thomas helped Gregory find honest work, and in time, Gregory became a better man. Moral of the story: honesty is always rewarded, while greed leads to loss. True wealth lies not in gold or silver, but in the strength of one's character. Choosing integrity over deceit may not offer instant riches, but it brings lasting peace and respect.